Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. So Native Health's Indigenous Wellness Camp is happening this July, and it's super fun. And in the studio today, we have Gabrielle Begay. She is Native Health's Indigenous Wellness Coordinator. Hello, Gabrielle, and welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for having me.
I so love you. You're so much fun and so exciting. So before we get started, tell us about yourself, your journey, how you got to Native Health, and now about the Indigenous Wellness programs.
Okay. My name is Gabrielle Begay, and I have been with Native Health for 5 years now, going on to be 6 years this coming May. So I've been here for 6 years, and
I remember when you started.
Yeah, it seemed like so long ago, but it was just.
So tell us a little bit about your background.
My background, I went to school. I started at ASU, so I have my bachelor's in science and public health, and I also have my associate's degree in medical administration.
I did not know you had a...
Yeah.
You went to ASU? I did not know that. And science? All right, you're a Sun Devil. Okay.
Yes, I'm a Sun Devil.
All right. So tell us, what's the Indigenous Wellness Program at Native Health? You're in the Community Health and Wellness Department. But what does the Indigenous Wellness Program encompass? So is it like the garden? Tell me what other programs it is.
Yeah, definitely. The Indigenous Wellness consists of 3 programs, which is the special diabetes for Indians, the tribal practices, and traditional garden. And the focus of the Indigenous Wellness Program is to provide culturally relevant education on the prevention and promotion of wellness through a wide variety of classes where we try to encourage intergenerational learning. And we do that through food demonstrations, the What Can I Eat curriculum. We've done ribbon skirt making classes, beading classes, and we've done hands-on garden activities and classes in the garden. But one of our biggest events is our Indigenous Wellness Camp.
Okay, so I'm going to back up. Let's go back. So the SDPI, which is a Special Diabetes Program for Indians, that's under Indian Health Service.
Yes, that's correct.
Correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and under there is which program? The garden?
Under the Special Diabetes Program is the Wellness Warriors.
Okay, and Wellness Warriors is for who?
The Wellness Warriors is for youth 9 to 13.
Okay, so Indigenous youth,
yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In Maricopa County, and then what kind of programs does Wellness Warriors have?
Well, Wellness Warriors, they do monthly physical activities, whether they could be going the Walk in Your Mocks as part of the Wellness Warriors program. They do that, and then we have monthly activities, a smaller version, the ones we give the adults in the diabetes education, but we make it more kid-friendly.
Okay.
For them,
Okay, and if people want it, if people have... if a family has a youth ages 9 to 13, then they would just contact you and say, hey, I'm interested in the Wellness Warriors program, right?
Yeah, definitely. They can reach out to me. They can email me, call me, just let me know. Or, our community health worker, Amber Labahi, she's great with the kids. So either one of us will be able to answer any questions they have.
And is that the program that also goes out to the different school districts?
Oh, yes.
And does education and... So what kind of cool stuff? I know that you've been doing some stuff with the Pascua Yaqui tribe out in Guadalupe. What else have you been doing for the schools?
We've gone out to several schools through the valley. Just really all depends, what they want. Most of the time they want us to do the blue corn presentation. So we do the blue corn presentation.
Because you're the blue corn mush ladies.
Yes, we're the blue corn girls, as we need shirts that say that. But yeah, we do the blue corn mush presentation, and an Amber also gives kind of a background about the blue corn.
The nutritional?
The nutrition, the education, where it's come from, the different types of blue corn there is, and just different information about blue corn in general overall. And then we do the presentation for the kids.
Okay, and that's open to any school district that contacts you, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Maricopa County.
Any school that wants us to come out will come out. We'll do that. And then she also provides nutrition education, and she just recently started doing the American Indian Life Skills with
And so what's the American Indian Life Skills
It just
program?
kind of teaches them more self-esteem, suicide prevention, but stuff like that for the youth.
And is that only for 9 to 13, or is that for all Indigenous youth?
It's for all Indigenous youth, but we mainly teach that for the middle school because they're a lot more older. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So under the SDPI program, Special Diabetes Program for Indians, you have the Wellness Warriors, right? And that would be for kids 9 to 13 or youth 9 to 13, and then also the part in the schools,
Yes.
right? Okay. All right. Then the second program you mentioned was
The tribal practice.
Tribal Practices.
Yes.
Okay. And that is for who and what is that?
That one is open to everybody. It's intergenerational learning.
So
for
0 to
0 to
100.
yes, whoever
Ish.
yes wants to come. Yes.
Okay. And what do you do in that program?
For that one, like I said, we mentioned we do intergenerational learning. So we do we do food demonstrations to where we try to incorporate traditional foods into
Blue corn mush.
Like blue corn mush, yes, definitely. That's
And all indigenous foods?
Yeah, all
Okay.
indigenous foods. We've done ribbon skirt making. We've done drum making in the past. Beading workshops, apron workshops. Just.
I know you've done some really cool ones. I know you have some great stuff planned, too.
Yeah, we have some great stuff planned coming up for
No, I saw some
April,
of that.
May, June. Yeah, so we've got it coming out.
So that's for anybody indigenous in Maricopa County?
Mm-hmm.
And they're usually in person at this point, right?
Yeah, they're usually in person.
Okay.
Yes, open to anybody.
Okay. And that's the tribal practices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what else do you have?
That's some of the tribal practices. That's it. Then we also have the traditional garden program.
Okay. Now, the traditional garden, I know, is at 1822 West Pearson.
Yes.
At the corner of 19th Avenue and Camelback, where people can park, and we're part of Keep Phoenix Beautiful.
Yes.
So I know with the traditional garden, I know you have the second is April. What kind of stuff is growing, or what are you planting? I know it's probably growing, right? It's probably too late to plant at this part at this time.
Yeah. Well, actually, our gardener, she's amazing. Her name is Kaya Perry. So she's amazing. So starting like the early part of January, she started seedlings in little pots. So she already had them ready to go. So she transplanted all those into the ground. She's planted squash, cucumbers, chilies, peppers, corn. And then those were all seedlings. But from seed start, she did different types of zucchini, watermelons, and tomatoes.
Ooh, yum. Okay. And so for the traditional garden, what's like, can anybody call her and say like, hey, I want to participate, or are there classes out there?
Yeah, definitely. They can reach out to Kaya. They can email, call her. All her garden workshops are open to anybody who would, wants to attend and learn anything from gardening. She does gardening 101 basics. She's done composting. She's a great resource for anything garden related. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Gardening, I think, is so much fun. And today we were talking about stress release.
yes,
And release and relief, and I would say gardening is one of them. I think it's a lot of fun. I have a garden at home,
Yes.
and I even have some tomatoes, so I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's one of my big things is like, how many tomatoes do I have today?
yes, it's exciting. Yeah,
An Indigenous wellness camp, which we've done for years and years and years. This year, again, I think we're back at Mingus Mountain Methodist Camp, right?
Yes, that's
outside
correct.
of Prescott, which is like in the cool, tall pines outside of Prescott, and it's a beautiful camp, and it actually gets cold at night.
Yeah.
Like you need a jacket. So tell us what you've got planned, who's eligible, is there a cost, which I know there's no cost,
Yes.
And like what the process is for camp.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as Susan mentioned earlier, the Indigenous Wellness Camp is going to be running July 14th through July 18th at Mingus Mountain in Prescott, and it's open to American Indian, Alaska Native youth between the ages of 9 to 12 years old. So what is needed for the camp this year is they want to learn from camp, and also a physical to be done by a Native health provider at any one of the 3 locations here in the Valley.
So for the kids that are writing these paragraphs, for their tuition is covered. Have they written some really cool stuff, like what they want to learn?
Yeah, we've actually received 3 applications so far, and yeah, they're excited. They want to make. I think every application is they want to make new friends.
Huh?
Yeah, make new friends and learn, exciting things is what we've seen so far on
cool.
applications. So yeah.
So, like, what kind of things are you planning for camp? I know I've been to camp a lot. It's super fun. I think making lots of friends. I think eating new things, doing some cool crafts. You usually incorporate some traditional activities as well, right?
Yes, we've done in the past. Well, last year's camp, we did a beading. We did bracelet making. We did traditional paintings, like traditional paintings, and then we had traditional performers come out. We had traditional storytellers come out, and then we provided nutrition education for them and food demonstrations.
So what do you have planned for this year?
This year,
same thing and more?
Basically the same thing and more, but this year we're excited because now we can do fishing and archery. So
you have like a lot of cool stuff. That is like the most amazing camp. They've got disc golf.
Yeah.
So they get to do disc golf, and then they've got like the huge field, and hopefully a fire at night, but you never know depending.
Hopefully.
Well, that's going to depend on the U.S. Forest Service. But I think the campfires are fun, and the disc golf is really fun, but the archery is super fun.
Yeah.
And the fishing, that's like amazing. You get to walk down the path to go to the fishing, to the lake. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think what else. Their lodge is fun. The cabins are super fun. They've got bunk beds, and it's inside. It's not like way back when I went to camp at Native Health when we were sleeping in tents, so it's really fun. I like it.
Yeah.
And the food's really good.
Nice. Yeah. I'm excited because this is my first year at Mingus Mountains.
Oh, no. I
hear great things about it.
It is the best camp. I think I've been to 5 different Native Health camp locations, 5 or 6, and it is by far the best.
Nice.
You're going to love it. So, okay, so just in your own words, why do you think camp is important? Like, is it a growth experience for kids? It's probably also good for parents to let their children go a little bit. Yeah. I know I've had a hard time with that. But what do you think? Like, why is camp important?
It's important for the youth to, there's so much going on here in the city with all the hustle and bustle going on. So it's good for the kids just to get away, get out into nature, and just be able to be kids. Here they're like so confined into their houses. They're on their games, they're on their phones. So just being out in nature, because we don't allow the games and stuff out there. So
and no phones out there.
No phones as well. So they'll be able to go out and just be kids, be physically active, play, get dirty. Just a great way for them to get out and then be among other kids their own age.
I think that's a great idea. I think I especially like the no phones, no video, no gaming, no screens.
Yeah.
And go out and be a kid and get dirty and have fun. Mm-hmm. And, in the summer when you're talking about going, it's so hot here. Mm-hmm. And you'll be up there and it's cold and you can wear a jacket and a down sleeping bag or whatever, fiberfill. I think it's fun. So I know you've been running camp for a few years. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite story?
My favorite story? Last year my favorite story was actually we had a talent show. And there was a young gentleman there, and we found out it was his birthday, so we didn't let him know. So we bought him a birthday cake. We got ice cream. Mm. We sang happy birthday to him, but what was probably the most favorite, because one little girl stood up. She says, I'd like to sing a song for him. So she sang happy birthday in Navajo to him. And then, next thing you know, the group of kids in the audience that knew it started singing in Navajo as well. And then we just kind of wow, this is amazing. It made some of the counselors tear up just thinking about it. And it was just so amazing. We're wow, they're listening to what they're being taught at home. They learn their Navajo language, and then for them to bring it and share it with other kids that didn't know it. So it was really one of the greatest moments I had at camp.
That gives me the chills. And I think it's so important. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know when I was at camp and running camp, and I think kids were so homesick at the beginning and really struggling. Also the parents, they would call. But I just think after day 1 or 2, the kids really blossom. Mm-hmm. They get more independent. They know they're going to be okay. They try things, and then they make friends. And then at the end, they're crying that they didn't want to leave their. They're crying when the buses pull in. It's and 5 days before, they're I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So I would say that happens every single year.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So I want to go back to what else you've got planned for Indigenous wellness programs. Can you tell us any little secrets, like what's going to be coming, like any special April or May or June events that you're thinking of or that you've got planned?
Yeah, definitely. So for April, we are starting our What Can I Eat series. So that's just, a way to teach people how to eat healthier to prevent diabetes.
So what is that? Is that a curriculum?
It's a curriculum, yes, that was designed by the American Heart Association.
Okay.
But they also partnered with several tribes. I believe it was back east, the Cherokee Nation. So they designed a curriculum based specifically for Native Americans that follow the same curriculum. So everything they'll be able to relate to in this curriculum.
How long is, so it's a series of classes, right?
It's a 5-part series. And
okay. Can you come in, what if you can't make it to week 1 or this airs after week 1? Can you come in at week 2?
Yeah, they can come in
Okay.
week 2. And then, because at the beginning of each session, we'll kind of recap what the previous class was about. And, so they won't miss out any type of material. If they want the material, we'll give them the material for the first class. But,
Okay. So what's the class going to look like? Is it you're going to start and then you're going to talk about like what can you eat? How much should you exercise? What should you drink? Or what's kind of like, what are you going to talk about each week?
So each topic varies from each week. So we'll be talking about carbohydrates. We'll talk about sodium, salt, fat, physical activities, how to eat and prepare food on a budget if you're not able to afford, like the higher cost of food. Now we'll teach you how to eat on a budget. Also, as well as, just doing physical movement, like how you can be physically active, just like by standing still, exercising, stretching, just like things like that, as well as icebreakers. So it's going to be a fun class. I actually took the class and it was so much fun. We had so much fun. We forgot we were actually going to, we're taking a class. So it's pretty fun.
All right. And you're teaching it?
I'm teaching as well as Amber Labahi. So we'll both be taking turns teaching this class.
And so I know you said if I come, there's different incentives each week.
Yes.
Right. So there might be resistance bands or portion control plates and other fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So each class will give out an incentive for each class and they come.
Okay, and there's no cost for this.
There's no cost for this at all, so people are welcome to come. Bring family.
Over the age
of 13.
Oh, over the age of
13 is fine, yes, to bring kids.
Okay, cool. So how many kids are you taking to camp? I'm going to bounce back to camp. How many kids are you taking to camp?
65.
And they can be Indigenous youth from Arizona or surrounding areas, correct?
Yes, they can be, huh?
I know the year that I went to camp, we had kids come from like Utah and New Mexico. Okay.
It's open to everyone.
So what they're going to do for camp is the information is on the Native Health website, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
NativeHealthPhoenix.org. I know they can contact you at, is it G Begay?
Yes, gbegay at nachi.com.
Okay. BEGAY
at nachi.com.
At nachi.com, NACHCI.com. Or you can call Native Health at 602-279-5262. And your extension?
13007.
13007. You can look at the sliders on the Native Health Phoenix website also. And then you would contact, so Gabby, they would contact you, get the packet for camp, right? Make an appointment for their physical, write the children would write why they want to go to camp, and then you would say you're good to go, and then more information coming, right?
Yes,
I know in past years it fills up.
Yes.
And people often procrastinate and wait till the last minute to do this. Is there a limited amount of spaces for camp?
Yes, we're limiting this year to 65 youth. So the first 65 youth that meet all the requirements of the application will be accepted into camp, and then there will be a waiting list of the ones that submit after, and if somebody drops out, we'll contact the next person on the list.
So I guess the message is do it sooner rather than later.
Yes, that's
Don't
correct.
wait till July 5th, which is usually what happens, right?
Yes, definitely.
And then last year we had to turn away kids because there were way too many.
Yes.
Like way, way, way too many kids that wanted to do it. Okay, so again, contact you, Gabrielle Begay, at gbegay@nachi.com, or call Native Health or check the website.
Yes.
And I always love talking to you, so thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
this
thank
wasn't
you.
so bad, was it?
No.
It's all very interesting, and I got to say, Gabrielle, you do such an amazing job with the garden, with the tribal practices, with the Indigenous wellness, with the camp, and you're always so patient, kind. I know you're always around, so you're appreciated by a lot of people. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Coming up next on Native Talk Arizona, we'll learn about the Indigenous Education Program at Chandler Unified School District with Antonette Shirley. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 8800 North 22nd Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and with us today is Antonette Shirley, and she is the Indigenous Student Engagement Specialist at Chandler Unified School District. This program is federally funded, and it supplements academic educational support and family engagement. And welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Thank you.
So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey getting to the Indigenous Student Engagement Specialist at Chandler Unified School District.
Okay, sure. My name is Antonette Shirley. I am from the Navajo tribe. My clans are Tsitnajeni, Twitich-Eatney, Tsenahabisni, and Trabaha. My mom's clan is Blackstreet of Forest People. My father's clan is the Bitterwater clan. My maternal grandfather's clan is the Sleeping Rock People clan, and my paternal grandfather's clan is near the Edgewater People clan. I am originally from a small town, Sayetwa. In English, it's Clagato, Arizona. I attended Arizona State University, received my master's degree in curriculum and instruction with a minor in Indigenous education. I started my career in Indian education as a teacher for the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation Education Division, and now employed at Chandler Unified School District working as the Indigenous Student Engagement Specialist in federal programs, primarily with the Indigenous Education Program.
So tell us a little bit about the Indigenous Education Program at Chandler Unified School District. And I'm assuming, is this the Johnson O'Malley program?
Yes, it is. Yes. This program has been in existence since my son was in kindergarten, since the year of 2000. We are the only Indigenous education program in the Southeast Valley. Our Chandler Unified School District Indigenous Education Program is supported by the Johnson O'Malley and the Title VI Indian Education Grant Funds. Both grants are supplemental grants to support the unique educational and culturally related academic needs of the Native American and Alaskan Native Chandler Unified School District students. The requirements to be enrolled in the program are for parents or guardians to fill out the Johnson O'Malley form and the Title VI form, as well as submit a copy of the tribal enrollment that they belong to. The program benefits once enrolled in these programs include support with eligible educational class fees, cultural family engagement or enrichment events, student recognition, assistance with backpacks and school supplies, and we also have a loading program for laptops, hotspots, or graphing calculators if needed. For our parents, we have an Indigenous Parent Committee where I encourage them to our quarterly meetings, meet with other parents, and attend parent conferences. I encourage parents and students to be a part of our quarterly meetings. We have a great community of Indigenous parents who love to build relationships and support each other. Some feel this is a home community away from home, living off the Indian reservations.
Quick question. How many, and I don't think you answered this, how many Indigenous students do you have in Chandler Unified School District?
We have about 1,500 students in this district.
Wow.
And we have about 626 students enrolled in our Indigenous education program under these program funds.
Okay. So there's many more people could register, right? If they brought in their paperwork and registered?
Correct, yes.
Which would be a good benefit for everybody. So why do you think these initiatives are important that you have, the programs that you've got? I know you mentioned some of the advantages, fostering a sense of community and utilizing the program. Is there anything else that you wanted to add about that?
So the benefits for the program is basically just to have the additional assistance and support for our Indigenous students so that they are more well prepared and able to be successful with their studies.
So Antonette, what do you do at Chandler Unified School District?
I am the Indigenous Student Engagement Specialist and work with Native American students and their families within the COSD schools from pre-K to seniors. I support our staff in working with Native American students and families. I host Indigenous Parent Committee quarterly meetings, work with our Native American advisors, assist with college outreach, coordinate tutoring, and teach professional development classes for our staff about Indigenous education. I host family engagement events, student field trips, and attend Native American club meetings. I also assist with the grant narratives for the Johnson O'Malley and the Title VI grants so that we continue to receive those grants. Chandler Unified School District supports pre-K through 12th grades and is the second largest school district in the state of Arizona. We have about 42,000 students enrolled in our district and about 5,200 employees and 1,500 self-identified Native American students and 826 students enrolled in our Indigenous education program.
That is a big difference. That is a lot of kids. I did not know it was that big. So I know you had something recently that looked very exciting. We posted on our social media. You had an Indigenous fashion show. I believe it's the second annual. Was that correct?
It is the third annual.
Oh, third.
Yes.
Okay.
We had our Indigenous fashion show that took place March 4th at Chandler Center for the Arts, and it was a free event. We had our very own COSD students who we showcase. We also unveiled our first land acknowledgement video for the first time in hopes that it will be shown at our events. Our families and students taught our community about their tribal regalia. They explained what each piece of their regalia meant and what the symbolism was behind it. It was a true, inspiring Native American oral storytelling event. We use this platform as a teachable moment since we are in the middle of neighboring tribes. Chandler is surrounded by tribal nations, and we partner to build a stronger community. We have the San Carlos White Mountain Apache tribe east of us. We have the Gila River Indian Community, Tohono O'odham Nation, Auction Indian Community south of us. We have the Pascua Yaqui tribe to the west of us, and we have Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community as well as Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation to the north of us. So it was a good teachable moment for our community.
So who put the land acknowledgement together? Was it all the students, or did you help, or other faculty?
Yes, I helped along with our Dr. Salou, our equity director, and also our students who participated in they are our Chandler Unified School District, and some of our employees. The marketing department was involved, and that was all together in community. We were able to put a land acknowledgement video together.
Very cool. All right, I want to back up to the Indigenous fashion show. What did they design? And I know you probably can't say your favorite piece, but what kind of things did they wear or design or create?
So the students came with their families dressed in their traditional regalia, and it was either they just basically talked about their description from their shoes up to their headwear. They talked about describing, where their shoe came from, if it was a moccasin or if it was a sandal, or if they didn't wear any shoes because some tribes didn't have shoes. They talked about how the dresses were made and the seasons of the year according to their outfits, their traditional regalia, and also different types of hairdos. For example, the Navajo hair bun, the tsiye, and also, what a shirt meant, like off the shoulder, meant like this indigenous teaching was that the girl was available to be married, or if it was a full covered shirt that covered your top portion of your shoulders, that the female was already married. So we learned a lot of information culturally and just different tribes. We had an intertribal representation. Chandler does have 39 represented tribes in the district.
So how many of those, so you said each family or each student came with their own regalia and then described it. How many different tribal nations were represented? I know you said there's 30, you have members of 39 tribes, but were all 39 there that night?
No, there was about 4 different tribes represented last night, or
very
at the
cool.
fashion show.
Okay. And I'm sure it was a great event and that you're going to do it again next year?
Yes, we will. We do plan on doing it again next year, yes.
So Antonette, how did the fashion show, the Indigenous fashion show that you did, how did that begin?
Yes, this is my 3rd year organizing this fashion show, as it is also my 3rd year working here. This idea was created by my daughters, Marissa and Markayla. They both play basketball, and they would dedicate a game to their late grandmothers and great-grandmothers by wearing their hair up in a Navajo bun called a tsiye. The basketball fans would be so fascinated by the Navajo bun, tsiye, as it was not the common ponytail or braid. My daughter's teammates would ask about their tsiye and their hair bun. And I started to notice that I was teaching our community about our Navajo culture. And this is where the idea originated from. Our community was very interested in learning about our Indigenous culture, and I responded to the need by hosting an Indigenous fashion show.
So Antonette, sounds like it gets bigger and better every year, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So what other programs I know you all do a lot of really innovative programming out there. What else are you working on this year or finishing this year out?
To finish the year out, we will be having our last 4th quarter Indigenous Parent Committee meeting in April 14th. And also we are going to be having our upcoming senior Indigenous Senior Banquet. That's going to be on April 28th. And then we will be having our 8th grade celebration of learning for our Indigenous 8th graders on May 1st. And we will have one more cultural end of the season event in May, which is still in the planning stages.
So for your you always have a lot going on out there. So Antonette, do you have a favorite success story? Or there's so many that you don't have one favorite one?
There are so many. Yes, there are so many, and one is in regards to the fashion show. I had, since this is my 3rd year doing it, I had a mother last year had told me that her daughter modeled at our fashion show event last year, and she had, after the event, she told me that she had a sense of confidence and noticed that she held her head higher than normal. And she took up the interest of being a model and went to be a model for an Indigenous designer that summer. So I thought that was a good memory. Another memory was when a parent shared the story of the MMIW, the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, of how a family member was a victim of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. She was able to spread the MMIW movement to our community and what it meant by the painting of the red hand over the mouth.
Wow, what an impact. And that I am glad you're there for those students and that you can do these things with them. And Antonette, finally, how can our listeners find more information about the Chandler Unified School District Indigenous Education Program, and how can they contact you?
people can find out information about our Chandler Unified School District Indigenous Education Program on our CUSD website at CUSD80.com or on our Instagram page at CUSD Indigenous EP, and they can call me at 480-224-3739 or email me at shirley.antonette@CUSD80.com. Thank you.
And we follow you on your Instagram, and you guys do a great job. You get a lot of stuff out there, and really impressive about all the programs that you do.
Thank you.
And making a big difference. Well, thanks for taking the time today to chat with us, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Up next, Susan Levy chats with Paul Helford about the Indigenous Youth Media Workshop at NAU. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 8800 North 22nd Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's patient enrollment specialist can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or via Zoom. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-285-9492.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, Native Health's Native American Cultural Affairs program, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy. Paul Helford is a teaching professor in creative media and film in the School of Communication at Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. He's also the School of Communications Workshop Director and the Director of NAU's Indigenous Youth Media Workshop, and he's going to tell us about the upcoming Indigenous Youth Media Workshop at NAU in honor of Andy Harvey. Paul, welcome back to Native Talk Arizona.
Thank you, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here.
We always love having you on. But before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have been teaching at Northern Arizona University for a little over 30 years. Before that, I had spent most of the 80s and some time in the 70s in the television industry. I was an award-winning writer, producer, and ran a TV station for a number of years. I've been doing workshops at NAU. I started a couple in the early 90s and then started one with a university in the Netherlands that ran from 2004 until this year. The Indigenous Youth Media Workshop I've been running started and have been running since 2012.
Wow, you've done a lot pretty amazing.
A lot, yes.
So I remember from our interview last year when you were on, you are running the Indigenous Youth Media Workshop. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. The Indigenous Youth Media Workshop, which began with seed money from the Arizona Broadcasters Association, now the Arizona Media Association, is a hands-on multimedia production workshop within a broadcast journalism curriculum. Last year was the first year we were able to increase the number of days from 5 to 11 days. It's an immersive program. Students are working pretty constantly for the entire time, and they also they also live here on the NAU campus, living in a residence hall, taking all their meals at the campus. It's a really meaningful workshop for the students who participate, often being transformational for them.
So when and why did the program start? Before you tell us more, who can attend?
As I said, it started with funds from the Arizona Broadcast Association to address the dearth of Indigenous people in media. And that was really the inspiration for it.
But you also had Andy Harvey, if I remember, because I've also been here for a long time and
Yes.
lived in the Valley. So Andy Harvey, if I remember correctly, was a Phoenix. Wasn't he a Phoenix newscaster?
Yes, exactly. So Andy had been an NAU journalism alumnus. He also got his master's degree here at NAU. And then he was a multimedia reporter for KPNX in Phoenix for a number of years. And was one of the rare Indigenous voices on television at that time. So he's very inspirational to actually many of the guests who we bring into the workshop. We talk about first seeing themselves on television in anything other than a fictional role. They first saw themselves in Andy Harvey. So we called it for a number of years the Andy Harvey Indigenous Youth Media Workshop, and then it discovered that it was in some ways hurting us in terms of our fundraising, because people thought, oh, Andy Harvey must be paying for this workshop. So that's why we now say it's dedicated to Andy Harvey, and it is to keep his message alive. And his message really to Indigenous students is tell your own story, which is really the motto of our workshop.
So when did this? So way back when, or when did this? When was your first either the Andy Harvey workshop or the Indigenous Youth Media Workshop? When was the first year that you did that?
The first year was in 2012.
Okay, so
and
this will be the 13th year.
And at that time, and we missed 1 year because of COVID, but between 2012 and 2023, it was a 5-day workshop, a 6-day workshop really, because they would arrive the students would arrive on Sunday and depart on the following Saturday. So we really had a lot to do in just a 5-day period. For years, our goal was to increase the number of days and increase the number of students, and we were finally able to do that thanks to a very large grant that we received in 2023 that allowed us to increase the days and number of students last year in 2024. I should point out that the workshop is free for the students. We offer full scholarships to every participant, and those we calculate as to be worth about $3,300 each.
Wow.
So they are, therefore, is supported entirely by grants, donations, and gifts. So fundraising becomes a major part of my job, although this large grant we got a few years ago from the Scripps Family Impact Fund.
That is amazing.
Yes,
Okay,
it
sorry.
was.
Question for you. So how many, I know you said last year it expanded. How many students came through last year?
Last year we had 32 students. We're trying to keep it at 30, just because it's a little easier to manage and a little less expensive. This year, our applications closed Friday, so my partner, Rachel Cox, and I are going to have to go through these applications and figure out how we're going to get it down to about 30 students. And we had 93 applications.
That's crazy. Like to
Yeah.
think back, like how it's grown over the past few years, And I've definitely seen it posted. I know Native Health posted it. We posted it in various forums, and I know other people did as well. So congratulations on overfilling. But now comes the hard task of choosing the students, and I'm sure they're all deserving and all want to go. So what do you teach in this workshop for people that are thinking about applying next year?
So as I said, it's a broadcast journalism curriculum. What they do during the week is that they learn how to produce video stories both on their phones and using professional equipment from NAU's School of Communication, the same equipment that's used by our film students and journalism students. During the week, they learn the equipment, and then they plan their stories. We take them out in the field to produce stories that are relevant to their communities. So they're learning digital filmmaking, they're learning how to do cameras, they're learning script writing, editing, audio. We added photography last year, and this year we're also adding animation. So they get all of the students experience all of those. And then this year what we're planning is that probably a couple of teams of students, about 3 students each, will produce animated, we're not sure what, maybe credits, and then the rest of the students will be producing stories from the community.
So for next year, again, because this year's full, next year applications will open in January?
February.
February, okay. And then who is eligible to apply for the program? Is it any Indigenous student in Arizona, or is it up in northern Arizona or Flagstaff? Who can apply for this one?
All 9th through 12th graders are eligible for the program. We promote it to sending an email blast out to every high school in Arizona and reservation high schools as well into New Mexico and California. We promote it on social media, and this year, last time I looked at it, I think we had applicants from 7 or 8 different states, including as far away as Florida and both Dakotas. Then our selection process, because as I said, we had 3 times as many applicants as we can accept. So typically we will first accept older students, that is juniors and seniors who may not have another opportunity to attend. Then we also, of course, give priority to Indigenous students. I think one of the great things that I'll mention at this point about this program is we do allow and in fact encourage students to reapply, to attend more than once. And the last time I looked, of our 90-some applicants, 10 had come to the workshop before. As they've been here a couple of years, we make them student leaders, so they get a little responsibility with the students in the residence hall. And then, after they've been student leaders and are hopefully going on to college, we can hire them to come back as mentors, who are the college students who we pay to live in the residence halls with the students. So it's a really nice program for developing leadership skills and and keeping involved with Indigenous populations and younger Indigenous students.
I think you guys do such an important, I know people that have gone and they talk about it and how amazing the program is and how it's really helped their careers and or get started in their career. So I just, hats off to you for doing such a great job. So
Thank you. Yes.
I know you received the funding last year. Who was that from again?
The funding was from the Scripps Family Impact Fund, which is an arm of the Scripps Foundation.
And Paul, finally, how can our listeners find more information about the Indigenous Youth Media Workshop? How can they reach out to you? And when is the next application cycle?
Anybody can go to Northern Arizona University's School of Communication website, and there they will see a picture and a graphic that says Summer Workshops. If they click on that, they will see the Indigenous Youth Media Workshop and learn more information there. Applications will open again for 2026 in February of 2026, and I can be contacted at Northern Arizona University at paul.helford@nau.edu.
Awesome. I hope so many people apply and reach out and contact you before next year. I hope the summer's program is a huge success like last year, and know that you are doing a good thing in getting these students off to a great career in media. So, Paul, hats off for all the hard work you do. We appreciate you coming on today. Thank you.
And I appreciate Native Health helping promote this.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listentokrdp.com.